我第一次入馬房，告東尼第一次見到佢，係。Oh, this is a very good horse.
When he arrived in my stable and watching his first gallop and his first barrier trial, I knew straight away I had something very special here. With his success and breaking records, it gave me tremendous amount of confidence as a trainer going forward.
呢隻馬咧就係香港嘅精神。啲人入到嚟馬場開心到好犀利見佢。
精英大師跑第一，贏馬嘅係嘉應高升啊！嘉應高升神操咁贏啊！精英大師就跑第一，精英大師第一。嘉應高升收姜贏2級賽呢場相當輕鬆啊！精英大師跑第一，精英大師贏第14場談馬，嘉應高升咪已經16連勝。精英大師完成17連捷，跑第2名芙蓉鎮，跑第3名紅旗飛揚嘅紀錄係由精英大師所破。嘉應高升相當輕鬆啊，拋離後邊嘅對手，贏出呢場100週年紀念短途杯，追平咗真係犀利啊！追平咗21年，精英大師保持咗咁啊21年17連勝嘅紀錄啊
！It's a good movie to be a part of. Nice. What can I say? We've said it all. What a horse.
Oh, powerful. They've got to try and beat me. Yeah.
香港馬王嘉應高升喺2月22號就會跑 G1 女皇銀禧紀念杯，屆時更加會挑戰18連勝。如果佢順利勝出，就會打破精英大師保持咗21年嘅17連勝紀錄。正當萬眾期待呢個新連勝紀錄出現嘅時候，其實回顧當年嘅精英大師，被譽為香港人嘅馬，佢嘅連勝紀錄非常之具意義。喺精英大師主理騎師高雅志眼中，佢確實與眾不同，永遠都擁有王者嘅氣派。
He was a larger-than-life character. He had terrific heart. He walked around like he was the king. He knew he was good. I think those athletes that are really top class, they just have that inner knowing, and he was absolutely terrific, and he knew, and he was very confident of himself. He gave you a lot of confidence every time you rode him, and every time I went out on him, I felt just confident, calm, and he was going to do the job.
精英大師喺錄音場上無馬可比，不過喺競賽以外、神課之中，呢一匹短途霸者每一個舉動都顯露出佢天生競賽意欲旺盛，不能被超越。
We taught him to be lazy. We taught him to be lazy in his track work. Because he had this character that he wanted to it was competition for him in the mornings. And if we had him on the small track just cantering, no matter what was around, he wanted to just rush past and beat it. You know, it was competition for him. So we finished up working him at the end of the morning because the track was quieter. And occasionally there'd be one horse on the track at that time. Oh my word, he just wanted to rush off and go and catch it and pass it. And even if there was something behind him, he wanted to get away from it. So he had just had competitive spirit to him.
對於精英大師嘅一舉一動，高雅志都記憶猶新。尤其呢一個習慣就令佢成日遲收工喎。
He used to love to stand and look at things before work and after work. So we used to bring him out as late as possible to have the track quiet, and he just wanted to stand and look at things. And time was ticking, so we had to kind of, come on boy, come on, and he'd just ignore it and he wanted to look at something like that. Anyway, we'd get him going, he'd do his work, and then pull up at the end of the work, and he'd look at something, and I can feel it like it's right now, you know. He'd pull up and he'd look at something from the other side of the track to something that's in the grandstand, and just interested in just standing and looking at that, you know. Yeah, just really like that. he was more or less the same in his races because he used to just look into the distance and prick his ears and focus on something in the distance. And in doing that, he was saving his energy.
精英大師橫空現身於香港嘅賽馬界，不過亦都正值香港面對艱難嘅時刻，就係沙士爆發嘅年代。呢位短途王者嘅誕生，亦都正好突出咗香港人嘅不屈精神。香港人面對沙士肆虐，冇低頭，更加努力面對，最終取得最後勝利。精英大師同香港市民一同面對逆境，佢連場報捷，喺灰暗嘅時期，為香港人帶嚟一片歡呼嘅喜悅聲。
香港短途錦標隨時預備起步，預備一起步嗰陣啊，應聲踏出精英大師係相當之快嘅貨幣名區啊！前面嚟講啊，第一隻踏出嚟嘅精英大師就鬥緊呢個貨幣名區啊！精英大師就已經越過咗呢個貨幣名區，後面上緊嚟啦，仲有嗰隻騎下就好望角嘅精英大師跑第一，跑第二名貨幣名區。
There's been some great horses around. We can look overseas. We can look at嘉應Rising. But when you hear what you've just said, you know, like the people's horse that was giving them hope during SARS, where do you hear that? Where do you hear that again? Doing that for the people. Quite unique and very, very special. Absolutely. You know, here was this super horse who was continuing to win, getting big penalties as he was going through the grades, and then when he went into group company, dominating in group company, being really special, attracting more people to the race course, and yes, he just gave people hope. This aura that he had.
精英大師由出道開始，橫跨2季多不敗，締造17連勝嘅紀錄，越贏越有嘅感覺。高雅志認為每贏一場都有無比信心，並唔係壓力。
17 in a row, and you know, as it was going up, and you get from 10 to 11 to 12, and then you start going into the teens, and it crosses your mind as to how far can this go. But every time we walked out for that final gallop, these good horses, that's what they have the ability to give you as the rider, give you the confidence. And then there's just this wonderful synergy going on, and of real confidence in each other and success.
對於精英大師每次贏馬，高雅志都認為佢只係用咗6成力，因為佢係一匹聰明嘅馬，永遠都識得留力。不過相信要用到100% 力度嗰次，一定係去日本跑 G1 日本短途馬錦標。而賽前一日，精英大師拋跌咗高雅志走甩一幕，佢永世難忘啊
！That day on the track, the sand on that track was very deep. And he was doing this normal slow canter, because if you try to do a fastish canter on him, he'd just get excited and just go too fast and probably run away with me. So we had him just doing this slow canter. And he did what you call in racing terms knuckled. He just did a stumble. Have you ever been running up steps and your foot catches and you just like down, you know? That sort of thing. And he stumbled and I went straight over his head. It was a situation where you couldn't do anything else. So if you can imagine now, I'm down on the floor and I've got the reins, and would you let go of those reins? No ways. I'm going to hold on to this forever, boy, no matter what. But can you imagine 1,200 pounds against me? And when something like that happens, he just lights up. And I couldn't hold on. And he ran over me and everything and stepped on my arm here, and I've still got a scar here from it and everything, so that's quite nice. And he ran off. And I saw this, I'll never forget, saw these wide hind quarters just galloping away from me. And I'm there in the sand, and I'm thinking, no, this has got to be a dream. And I knew it wasn't. And this was heavy sand, and he was galloping flat out. And it was quite a large track, and the next thing he came around again. And I thought, let me try and stop him. And I stood there and I was kind of waving my arms, and I could just sense there's no way he's going to stop. So I stepped out the way. And he galloped past me so fast, and tomorrow's the race. Anyway, they put the tape across the track, and they stopped him, caught him, and so on. And of course, he'd stepped on my arm, and I didn't know how bad it was at the time. And I was running like this, and I got back to where the owner and Tony and the horse and the other officials from Japan Club were, and somebody said, one of the officials said to Tony, Mr. Cruz, can this horse run tomorrow? And Tony, with no hesitation, said, of course he's running. Just like that. Absolute. And you know, that, I mean, you can imagine how I felt. I'd fallen off him. He'd run around the track. The race is tomorrow. I'm feeling like quite devastated. But when Tony said that, wow, he just gave us all the confidence, you know. And it's wonderful when you've got that leader that just says, yes, he's going to run.
經歷過驚心動魄嘅神課走禮一幕之後，嚟到賽日，精英大師可以克服一切嘅困難，最終揚威日本。整個比賽過程雖然已經事隔差唔多21年，但高雅志對於每個細節仍然印象深刻。
First of all, I'll take you through you know, when they walk around in that shed at the start. And I didn't want him to go in the shed because he hadn't been in that situation before. And I thought, well, I don't want him to get a kick, you know, and that sort of thing. So I kept him outside of the shed. He wasn't having any of it. He pulled me. He put his head down and he pulled me. He wanted to be in there with the rest of them. Like, they must know who I am, you know. So anyway, we went to the start and I was drawn a bit wide. And we jumped out and they beat him for pace. I felt calm. I felt calm because, I mean, here were these guys going so fast that they were leading Silent Witness. You just can't do that. If you're going to go faster than him in the beginning, you're going to get jolly tired at the end. And as we turned into the straight, as we hit that hill, I went, and he just shot past them. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can imagine. Yeah, sure. Because, you know, it was like, in spite of the fall, in spite of him running around the track, yes, he still beat them all, you know. They tried to run him off his feet and so on in the race, and he still beat them.
"對於能夠騎到精英大師，高雅志心存感恩，因為世界上有唔少騎師，又有幾多個可以騎到咁出色嘅驚世良駒呢？所以高雅志用咗2個字嚟形容自己，就係幸運啦。
He's just a fantastic horse. I'm just very, very lucky to be the jockey.
嚟到呢一刻，精英大師嘅17連勝就快被嘉應高昇打破。高雅志並冇失望，反而感到欣慰，因為精英大師同埋嘉應高昇都具備咗成為世界短途王者嘅特質，令香港賽馬水準登上世界頂尖之樓。
Yeah, you know, I think good gate speed is very, very important, as you've seen with嘉應Rising and with Silent Witness, and in other good sprinters that they've been in Hong Kong through the years. Certainly Silent Witness's gate speed was quite superior. He always came out first.嘉應Rising is a very quick starter. And that versatility to be able to lead or sit just off the lead, that tactical speed is so important.
精英大師同嘉應高昇除咗擁有上乘嘅前速之外，高雅志認為精英大師比嘉應高昇體型上更加大，可以稱為巨無霸，因為當年連世界頂級騎師近能亦都有同感。
Yeah, I think that Silent Witness was a bigger horse than嘉應Rising. I'll never forget one year I was walking down the tunnel to take him to track work here at Sha Tin, and Mick Kinane for some reason was walking through the tunnel, and Silent Witness was doing his like slow walk, and Mick wanted to come up and give him a pat. So he came walking over, and with that I just stood with him, and he came over and patted the horse, and I can remember sort of looking down at him like this, and Mick looking up at me like that and saying, "He's a big fella, isn't he?"
精英大師同嘉應高昇兩隻馬都係難得嘅短途兩駒，喺高雅志心中確實係好難比較。
Look,嘉應Rising is a terrific horse. I've got the utmost respect for嘉應Rising. He's brilliant. I love the way he runs. He wants it, you know. He just wants to run as fast as he can, and a very, very genuine horse. He's a superstar. No, I think he's great. If I have to compare, you know, it's just that I know Silent Witness more. I had a lot more to do with him. I rode him in track work nearly every day. And I've got such wonderful memories of the time that I had with him, you know, that I can't be disappointed if or when嘉應beats his record, because, you know, Silent Witness just had such charisma and presence to him. And when you think what he did for Hong Kong at the time, it's a great memory.
對於嘉應高昇就快打破精英大師17連勝紀錄，高雅志衷心預祝呢匹香港馬王能夠成功寫下新嘅一頁。
Okay, I can say congratulations to嘉應Rising. I think you're a great horse, and I'm sure you're going to win many more races. I think you're absolutely brilliant.